Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And we'll be right back after this message.
Transcending time and space, let us take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the Fenton Perspective with our great host, Lorian Fenton. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenton Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Hi everybody, it's me, The Fetch, host of Inside the Eye Live. Before the Sunday mainstream media political pundit talk shows, there is Inside the Eye Live, where we break down some of the weekly mainstream media talking points before the talking points even get aired. Add in some entertaining stories, weather, cats, intriguing and informative guests, and you get one of the most listened to Saturday morning streaming media political talk shows going today. And it's all right here on our flagship station, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. So join me, The Fetch, for Inside the Eye Live every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. It is truly intelligent media for the politically aware.
Who are you? I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you.
Why am I here?
You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision, which has led you inexorably here.
You haven't answered my question.
The Matrix is older than you know. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equation.
Choice. The problem is choice.
Right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Be here Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Private Eye Matrix Revealed with Monique Lassonde.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
On the go? Still want to listen? Don't have one of those fancy phones with too many buttons? Don't know what an app is? Or you don't even care? Well, we got you here at Revolution Radio. Now you can dial in 24/7 to listen to our shows. We have a number for Studio A and Studio B, and best of all, it's free. Don't forget, your carrier charges for your cell phone provider may apply, though, so check with your cell provider to make sure. So ready? Here you go. Get a pen. Here's the number. Studio A is 712-432-6958. And Studio B is 716-748-0112. Thank you very much for listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, the number one listener-supported radio station in the world.
Enjoy your extra big-ass fries.
You didn't
Give me no fries. I got an empty box.
Would you like another?
Extra big-ass fries.
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're having
Come
trouble.
on. My kids are starving.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas, freedom of speech, but above all, we believe in freedom of existence through self-reliance. This station is 100% listener-supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift for a $100 donation. 35,000 seeds. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, the shit hits the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the megacorps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also a DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents and the offline home canning how to do everything website all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What we do in life, it goes in eternity.
Hi there, it's Christine Hart, the Christine Hart Show, and we're back live from London. And today we've got Max Spiers with us. I hope you're joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show last week. And Max is back to speak more. Max, are you back with us?
I am. I'm right here.
Excellent. Yeah, before we went to break, I was talking about, the images that came up. I was sitting at a table somewhere as a kid. It seemed like one of these parties that I used to go to up to I was, when did I get back into care?
What's the age difference between you and I, Christine?
I'm not going to say that on air.
Oh, okay. Because I'm just trying to think. Because I wasn't in the... So which country were you in? Was this in the UK?
Yeah, UK. I'm English.
I wasn't in the UK then.
Oh, really?
At that time, no.
You grew up in...
US.
Did you? You didn't grow up in England?
Well, back and forth, but from 4 till the primary years, like 4 to 8, I was in the US.
Huh, interesting.
So in Los Angeles.
Huh. Yeah, no, it was just a weird thing that it came up that you were colouring in these hooded men in black. And I said, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. And then you just got taken away. And it was really strong. It was a really strong vision. And oddly, when you were speaking just now, I just got that same vision, you colouring in these... we were all supposed to colour in, but you're supposed to colour in a certain way. You're supposed to colour in these men in black hoods with rainbow colours, and you weren't colouring. What?
Doesn't sound like me at all.
Oh, you were just a kid. No, you were just.
No. When I was a kid, I've painted my whole life.
Yeah.
I paint. I mean, I'm going to post up some of my paintings. After the show.
Yeah, but no, just to say, it was only a vision, so it's not, I wouldn't say it was true, but, and maybe it's just kind of, what do you call it, metaphor or something, and no, you were colouring in the men with dark hoods with a black pencil, but they were evil, so it was right to put them in the dark hoods, and when you were talking just now, but you weren't allowed to do it, so the men came and lifted you up, basically, and took you away for, I don't know, maybe more programming. What?
That doesn't sound very nice.
No, it's horrible. I didn't like it. It was a horrible. And then I got it when you were talking just now. I got that vision really strongly. And it was odd. Made me feel weird.
No, I have no memory of that myself.
No. And then weirdly, this morning, just as I was going off, like Miles asked to come on the show, and then everyone decided that it might be better if we just spoke. And I just got the feeling like two children in a house who find their parents, I don't know, evil doings and expose them to the cops. And the cops say, oh, well, instead of taking the children to safety, they tip off the parents, and then the parents punish the children. I just got that coming up really strongly again, that kind of children thing. It's weird. I don't know. I'll just meditate around it. I don't know what it is. But
yeah. Okay. Okay. No. I don't. I mean, I have very specific memories as a kid, but not that. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it's just like children exposing evil, and ooh, you'll pay for it. That kind of warning thing, almost. Maybe it's me. It's going on with me. That watch yourself. But
well, yeah, you are in a sort of a hot spot position. Definitely, good with the radio show that you have. So I'm certainly with the guests that you have on. I'm sure that you're watched. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that. Well, I was talking about Lisa Williams' links. The Nazi links to witchcraft. She's been researching, and there appeared in the Daily Mail a spread on Himmler and witchcraft, which kind of pissed me off. But I know the Mail are watching me specifically because of the Panorama. Panorama have approached me to do an expose on the work, the investigations work I carried out for over a decade from the Mail, and so the Mail know about that because I spoke to a journalist who is a friend of mine who still works on the Mail. I spoke to him about that, and so I would say he knows I've got the show, so I would say he's probably tipped them off, and they're looking to see what I'm talking about.
Oh, sure, definitely. And with that information as well, they have to release that, and that's all controlled release information because they have to release that out. They have to in one way or another. Sometimes you'll find in a tiny little part of a newspaper, you'll find maybe a few lines just telling the people a specific piece of information that they want to get out, and that's their way of getting around the karmically, telling you what they're doing. But I'm surprised about the Himmler stuff that they're actually releasing that now. I'm surprised, especially in a newspaper that's read by millions of people. But maybe there's an agenda behind that too.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. You were saying about the stilling ideas and how they have to tell you. And I was thinking about my agent. I just remembered his name, Robert Kirby. He basically said, "Oh well, ignore Helen Fielding's book. It might be the same story, but she's made it a comedy thing." And then after working with me 6 years after I went to Dylan Aitken and said, "Well, it's my story she's told," he then dropped me. So do you think that was a setup from the word go?
Could have been. It could have been. They could have been trying. They could have put you in a position where you were coming up with ideas and creating, and then used you for those, and then stolen them, and then shut you down. That's kind of very common. That goes on in Hollywood with scripts all the time.
Why do they do that? Why didn't they let me be creative? Why someone else?
Because they want the credit for themselves. I know that with a lot of it's surprising actually, with a lot of artists that are out there that we think are like very famous artists throughout the centuries, that they weren't actually painted by the artists that we think they were. That they have a group of artists who get together and put these masterpieces together and then claim it for this one person, because then all the energy of the people who are looking at the piece of art is then thrown to this specific person, and this person may have no talent whatsoever, no artistic talent whatsoever, but then that energy is harvested to that person, and that person may have specific DNA that then is a honeybee, can then be given to the elite for them. So that goes with. I also heard that the South Park creators, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, that they didn't actually create or do any of that stuff themselves either. That whole show was a government psyop in and of itself, and that they are getting credit for it because they then collect the energy that people give when they watch it, and then it's spread out and then given to the elites that way. I'm not exactly sure why and how that works, but I think it's to do with putting their people with specific DNA, and so that we throw our energy to them when we watch those shows. Whenever you watch a movie or a show, and we know who's created it, you're giving your energy to that person because you're watching it, and then they can then harvest that energy and give it on to somebody else. If the person who genuinely created it doesn't have that in them, doesn't have that hive energy sort of and which word to use, sort of collective energy DNA, then it wouldn't work. The whole system of harvesting energy wouldn't work. So they would put their placement people in, so that we give our energy to them. Like it goes with musicians as well, and the same principle with musicians.
Yeah. Wow, I know I'm going to go off after this show and feel quite angry about that. Actually, I noticed the Bridget Jones. If everyone's seen the Bridget Jones Diary, the message of the film is disgusting. I watched it with an ex-boyfriend, and we used to go to the movies all the time and really enjoy the movies and have a burger, go to the movies. And we went to watch Bridget Jones' Diary, and we both came out depressed. I mean, I needed to get to alcohol really, really quickly after watching it. And I was saying to a friend, it's a really bad message. And it's the message, grab a man, and that's the answer to your life. I mean, really grab a man.
Like you're not a whole, and definitely.
And it wasn't even love. It wasn't even the people in it. There's no chemistry. It's not love. It's just kind of.
It's superficial and it's shallow. Yes.
Yeah, superficial. I mean, it's like that movie, The Age of Adeline. That they've got the girl who can't grow old. She stays young, and she meets Harrison Ford when he's younger, and then he grows old and marries somebody, and she then hooks up with his son, and then the son takes her like years later, maybe 20, 30 years later. He dates her and then takes her home to meet Dad, who's Harrison Ford, who fell in love with her earlier. And the film was so flat and boring, and there's no chemistry with Blake Lively and the actor. And then you go back, and then you're like, Harrison Ford and her have got chemistry, and you think, yes, it's going to be a real Terminator 1 style passionate love story. And then it turns out that he says, oh, I want you. Harrison Ford says, oh, I want you for my son. I want you all have a good love with the son. And then she ends up curing herself, and she goes with the son, who she's got no chemistry with. And then the Harrison Ford figure says to his wife, who was afraid that she was a second choice, he says to her, oh, you've stayed with me. You've been committed to me. And I thought that was a really bad.
Yeah, okay. With movies, they're set up as giant rituals each movie, so they hope for chemistry in there, and they hope to get that because then they're going to get more people watching it. But essentially, it's the names of the people that are in the movie, and it's the age of the people in the movie, and also the other movies that they've done before. So they have to place. That you need the archetypes in specific places in specific movies to create. So if you think of each movie as maybe a ritual, a ceremonial, magical sort of spell in and of itself, and it's a bonus if there is chemistry there, because then more people will watch it. But the major mainstream movies are put there as for the characters there as archetypes to create and make a ritual. And the subconscious mind knows this when it watches it. The conscious mind watches it as the fake storyline that it is, and the subconscious mind picks up and understands that it is ritual in and of itself.
I think as well they had that pushing the agenda of marry someone that you don't love. They seem to do that a lot. Like just marry someone, and even if the marriage is flat, it's a good thing.
Well, yeah, anything to keep people in sadness for sure. Yeah.
It's like they don't want us to hunt out our true soul partners. It's like they want us to marry someone stable.
They definitely don't want you to get together with the person you're supposed to be with. Yeah, no, they don't want that, because then that creates a true union and true heart love and true heart connection, and then that creates a third energy which is infinitely powerful, and that's the last thing that they want anyone to have. So yeah, definitely, people are thrown into your life who are sort of false, who you're not supposed to be with. There's a lot of trickery going on as well, so they can make it. This ties in with past lives as well, so they can put somebody in your life that you were perhaps with before, but then give and that you were in love with before, and then give the features, maybe the eyes or the nose or a mannerism in this life, and so you're drawn to them, but in fact it's not the right person, but then you're drawn to them for that reason. You get into a relationship or a marriage or whatever, and it's sour, but you sort of still stay there because there's something pulling you there, but you don't understand why, and that causes distress and destruction and sadness, and then that will then spread out across everywhere, and because it's the microcosm, and then that spreads to the macro, and so then the rest of the world also resonates that sadness and chaos.
Yeah, it's definitely Hollywood putting that out, because you could feel even the sexual chemistry between Harrison Ford and Blake Lively, and it's almost like made me feel bad as well. It almost dashed my heart to the floor, because you're like, first of all, you get your hopes up. You're like, yes, leave your wife and go off with her and let her dump Mr. Boring and, have this intense sexuality. And it's like crash to the floor. He stays with the wife. You're left with kind of almost feeling guilty for wanting that sexuality, to almost like a pervert or something. Like, oh yeah, pervert, you wanted that, but hey, this is the godly thing. This is the good thing. And then he had Harrison Ford looking at the children, and the child's. We've had our lovely children and focused on their lives, and the child smiles up at the father, and it's like, good family. Don't be thinking you're dirty booking sex here, watchers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I understand what you're saying, and I've also noticed in a lot of sitcoms, American sitcoms, you'll have the male will often be like perhaps like overweight or unattractive, and then his wife will be sort of attractive, and it sort of doesn't fit, and they're sort of putting it out there so that men will sort of be striving or driving towards a certain mindset of a woman or a certain type of woman, and so they're always
exactly.
and then that they will probably never get. So it's sort of constantly striving to get something that they don't even know why they want it, but they've been imprinted with these. Especially sitcoms are some of the most powerful ones there are. Seinfeld and Friends obviously came out and ran parallel with each other, and Seinfeld was is a Kabbalistic. I mean, I like both the shows, but Seinfeld is a Kabbalistic Zionist. I mean, there's so much symbolism in there; it's unbelievable. And Richards, I think the guy who plays Kramer, is openly a 33rd degree Mason, and Seinfeld is a 33rd degree Mason, and they're all Kabbalistic magicians. And then Friends was maybe the Aryan sort of version of it. Not version of that show, but it was that you had the Jewish one, and then you had the white sort of Aryan show, and they were running sort of together. And their Friends is probably the most embedded, symbolic, inverted television show that's ever been. I mean, it's jam packed full of if it's full of triggers all the time. Every episode I've ever watched, there is a monarch trigger or an inverted message covered up by a loving message or pretending loving message and then inverting the message. These people are masters at inverting the truth, making what is light seem to be dark. That's what their thing is. That's what they do. So especially with sitcoms, because you come back each week watching the same thing, and you sort of start to feel like you're friends with the people, and that goes back to the beginning again. What you were saying about politics and movie stars, because the people feel like they know the person, and they're far more willing to follow and listen to somebody they know, who they think they know, than they are a suit. From regular, the MP.
Mm-hmm. Why you were saying earlier about the gods and why is there an Odin and Greek gods and the Christian god of Jesus? Is that because the overall gods sent out different gods over all the different nations?
I'll tell you something interesting. There's the Odinist Society, which is it's based in London, the Odinist Society, and that it sort of teaches the Nordic concepts, but it was taken over. I think about 100 years ago, and so it's called the Odinist Society. But if you reverse the word Odinist, you get sin I do. So they have once again inverted something that was originally quite beautiful, because the Nordic concepts of Midgard and the layers and the levels is really quite accurate and in my opinion and quite beautiful, and they've inverted it and flipped it upside down again. So what was your question?
Why doesn't everybody, I mean, why have we got Jesus, which is why are they all separate, like Greek and Nordic? Is that because we all got confused, or because the overall God sent out different gods to all different nations?
Different cycles of time. So different cycles of time.
I see.
And different representations to different people. They at different time cycles.
Why are they all betrayed then?
It's okay. So this storyline, this last 2,000 year storyline, it's just a cycle connected to the sun cycle. I don't know why. I don't know the exact of why that happened. I don't know why. I can't answer that question.
Interesting.
Yeah,
as you were talking, I was thinking about the story, the one that was taken from me, the Helen Fielding one, where she wrote what I was writing, and actually in the version I was writing, it had that soulmate love, and in her version, it didn't have anything like that. There's definitely an agenda to, and I think I covered that in the show with Eve Lorgan, the Dark Side of Cupid and the Love Bite, Alien
Evie's
Love Bite.
great. Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
Yeah, they don't want the twin souls to. I mean, I was told years ago by a psychic called Mike Baker that I would meet my twin soul, and the initial was J, and I still haven't met them. And he was a really good psychic. I mean, everything else came true, but that didn't. And I think there's an agenda to sort of. To put people in your path. And even with Hollywood, there's no movies or stories that are going out. They sell these dead marriages,
Well, when you're in Hollywood and when you've got a position like that, none of your relationships are going to be you've sold out, so none of your relationships are going to be love. They don't want that. They want you to be with somebody who suits the agenda for the ritual that's being played out.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to I won't say her name again, but regarding Tom Hardy, he married a girl, and I didn't feel psychically that, because I did a psychic reading on him, and I felt that she didn't match him because his mother was like a queen, and he would be more suited with a queen female, somebody like Charlize Theron, somebody high dominance, and that would be a true soulmate match. So that's interesting that he got the little woman, the sort of the Stepford kind of thing, like they have in the area where I live, that it's playing out a role of the woman is less dominant, the man is the sort of
Yes,
breadwinner.
they're
But
doing that. Yeah, they're doing that's part of the inversion thing that's going on. Yeah.
why is that then?
Why are they doing that? Remember we went over that in the other show. So they're trying to, if you want to take over a planet or you want to take over the heart, then you take out the strong males first. So you take out the strength of the male first, okay? So then the first way to do that would be to emasculate the alpha males. So that you have all the alpha males on the planet, and who are then protecting the core of the planet, and the most efficient way to take out, rather than, because they've realized hands-on fighting causes too much. It's not as efficient as if you do it subversively, if you do it under the surface. So by emasculating the any alpha male, then you're taking away the raw power of the planet. And it goes back to a guest you had on, Aquino. It's the same principle there. It's even in his name. So it begins with alpha and ends in omega, and then you have queen in the center. So beginning and end, and then queen in the center, which is emasculating the male.
Oh, interesting. So by emasculating the male, they tie them down with these women who are.
It's bonding. It's essentially bonding. It's bonding. It's bonding male energy. Yeah. So the divine male would protect the divine female, but if the divine male is emasculated, it is then unable to protect properly the divine female. And then you start having the collapse of the union of the male and the female, and then they're inverting it and twisting sexuality and making confusing sexuality, and then so
I remember we did that on the last show. But how does it, if you tell men that they have to get a certain type of wife, which is your low dominance, sort of sweeping up the half yet very arrogant kind of females, why does that bond the male then?
Why does that what?
How does that bond the male? Does it? Hang on.
I don't think that particularly does.
Oh right, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that part particularly does. That's repressing the female. So that's just that. Okay, so the divine female is being attacked, and the divine male is being attacked. They're two individual, different, separate things. The divine female is being attacked in a different way. I'm just addressing the attack on the divine male. We could do a whole show on that and how the divine female has been repressed for 2,000 years, and how they've done that and why they've done that.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing. I'm quite happy to do a show on that if you want to.
Maybe it's that if men are given a message to love in a certain way, or the certain type of women they're supposed to love, then they don't really reach as high as they're supposed to reach. They don't really risk all.
It's like the 50s, the post World War II concept of having like the male that comes back home from work, and the female is at home cooking and sort of slaving away. That concept was destroyed in the 60s, and there was there was an awakening, because there was a mass sort of like infusion of higher vibrational consciousness that came down after the Second World War, because so many were killed. When you kill that many en masse in such a violent way, then the universe reacts by sending in mass high vibrational beings, and so then that countered the 50s sort of repressive male to female energy in the home, and changed that up a little bit.
It's still here. It's in my village. Strong, very, very strong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. It's certainly less than it was in the 50s. That's for sure. They with like the feminist movements that sort of shifted things, but a lot of these are all sort of like setups anyway. They're setups anyway to keep, because it's important for them to make sure to keep everybody confused. What they especially wanted to do was certainly over the last it's just a slightly different topic, but over the last 2,000 years, they built all these structures, all these cathedrals and other structures on divine female energy points to repress the nurturing mother energy of the earth, because the earth is essentially female, because it's creative force. If you put something in the ground of the earth, it grows. If you put a seed in the earth, it grows. Why does it grow? Because it gives life. So it's feminine. The planet is female. So the males on the planet, or the alpha males on the planet, are supposed to be here to guard and protect the divine female planet, and the offspring of the planet are the divine females on the planet, who are which would be nurturing energy and kind energy and understanding and empathetic. And so by destroying and emasculating the males, then that allows the females to then be attacked, and inverting the sexuality of the females in the same principle and in the same way that it was being done to the males.
Yeah, interesting. I hope I get that.
Go ahead.
My area is that 50s, that charge of that 50s thing of don't risk passion, don't risk anything for passion. Even the movies of Nicholas Sparks, if you watch them, they have the passionate the passionate meeting and the twin souls meeting, and then one of them dies always.
Yeah, they make these movies that then sort of like they build you up, and then they sort of crush you, don't they? And then they hurt the heart that way. I think we talked about before, like it's so important where the big movie theaters are built, because then remember they have all the maps and all the information where all the important ley lines are, where the female energy points are, and so you build, if you built a huge cinema complex on a very sensitive energy ley line point, and then you played movies that then invoked heart feeling, sadness, and heart hurt feelings in the movies, then that is then all filtered down through into the ley line of the planet, and then damages the planet and keeps the planet repressed. Keeps the female energy planet repressed. They definitely don't want the nurturing female energy to be there. And by maintaining the strength of the male, then the male is able to protect the divine female.
Interesting. I want to touch on something as well about we had some guests on, I think it was last week, and we were discussing astral travel, and I invited someone on who studied the Bible, and he was like, oh, no, you mustn't astrally travel. And the second half of the show got cut, actually. I don't know why, something to do with Revolution Radio. So I wanted to get your opinion just in the last half hour about astral travel. I'll tell you really quickly about someone, about the experience I had. Someone approached me on Facebook with a blank profile and said they were Alexander, but they split the word, so it's Alex and then Ander. And basically they said to me, do you want to time travel with us? There's a group of us going off in a team going on a mission. And I thought, I was kind of drawn to their energy. And normally if it's no picture, I'm like, I just click off, decline. But I was I paused over the decline button, and I thought, hang on, they've got an interesting energy. Yes. And so when he just said really quickly, just a really tight message, did I want to go time traveling? There's a group of them. And then he put my date of birth, which I thought's odd because I don't really put it out there. It is. And I said, okay, even though I thought, okay, I don't believe this person. And, I had it in my head, well, a bit of a nutbag. And they said that they knew Dan Boland, the guy who's done a basis, Sergeant Dan Boland, who does the spy ops and stuff. Have you heard him?
No, I haven't.
Oh, right. But he's someone who worked for the CIA, and he did these black ops. And anyway, I laid down, went to sleep. And as I laid down, I found like I was sort of drinking something, and it felt like cough mixture. And then there was a group, seemed like a group watching me, and they said, oh, they give that to them to make sure the programming sticks. And then I found myself, what?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I mean, I know about that.
Oh, do you?
Yes. I've had it happen to me before, astrally, yes. Yeah, that almost identical to that.
Oh, really? The cough mixture?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It reinforces the thought. It reinforces what you've got to be careful with drinking anything astrally. You can get yourself into a lot of trouble. But go on, I'm interested.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, I've been hypnotized before, and it was the same effect as if I was being hypnotized. I got sucked down my timeline. First of all, I had a flashing of me touching the settee where I grew up, and then I was sucked down to younger. I was remembering my granddad, and I just got sucked down my timeline bit by bit. And then I got taken to my mother giving birth. And she was crying. So I was trying to watch her crying because it was a revelation to me, because I've always hated her guts and thought, she just dumped me straight away. And she was crying. So I was trying to watch her crying, and I started crying. And then I came back to my body on the bed, and I was crying like in reality, brushing my tears away. And then I went back again, and one of the group watching said, can she stay with her mother a while? And the girl said, no, she can't. We've got to find out what happens with the baby. And then they took me and they followed the baby. And one of the nuns picked up the baby and said, this is pure blood, and took the baby off. And the baby went through the monarch system of cages and chopped up puppies and that kind of thing. And then they took me, this Alexander took me. They were dressed like in silver suits, and then they put me in a silver suit, and they were trying to slap me awake. And then they took me and stripped me down, so I was a skeleton. And then they said, that's your skeleton, Christine Joanna Hart. They said, tell us about your previous life. So I told them about being a Nazi and then sucked down. And I think one was a Native American. Then there was something in Egypt. And then there was a kind of a black thing that shut down all of us. And then I sort of appeared back on the bed. And I went back to this guy the next morning. I was like, whoa, I thought, who the hell are you, because that was awesome. The only person that's ever done that to me before is Colonel Michael Aquino, who can just get you whenever he wants, pull you out of your body, take you wherever he feels like doing. So I thought
he can't always don't hand your power over that quickly.
Okay.
That, but anyway, yes.
He's got that power. So I was interested in who this Alexander is, because that's quite some power that he can do that, and it is quite some power. So I thought,
when did this happen? This happened a week ago.
Yeah, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, something recent. And anyway, I talked about it on the show. We were just debating, but I was talking to someone else, and they didn't have any answers for me. And then, because this guy said he knew Dan Boland, even though I didn't believe him, I thought, well, I'll ask Dan Boland. So I emailed, like on Skype, I emailed Dan Boland, and I told him what happened. And he said, that sounds like Alexander. Oh, I won't say the guy's second name, but he knew the guy's second name, and he knew he lived in LA. And he said, that sounds like him. He's one of my team leaders. And so I told him about what happened in the silver suit. And he said, yeah. He said, I was there. He said, that guy, he says, he's one of my people. And I said, he's sent me a picture of himself. He's a young guy with red hair. And he goes, yeah, that's him. And he said, oh, you've come out with us. He said, we go out often to go to CERN to try and destroy Alice. And they said that to me. They said, we're going to kill Alice. Because I said, well, I think Alice is me. And he goes, no, sorry for triggering you. But it did really trigger me. And he said, we're trying. But I think all they were trying to do was look down my timeline.
To see what you had been on, what you were going to do?
Yeah, it seemed like they were nosing on me. Even though the guy said, oh, we'll go out again. He's never taken me out again.
So you responded? Did you respond to when they wrote to you?
When who wrote to me?
So when the fake profile wrote to you, did you respond to them?
Yeah, I did. I said, yeah, I'm up. He said, I need your permission for you to come out on this exercise with us. So I said, I give my permission.
Okay, so and that was the only correspondence you had with the person?
Yeah, and then they took me off.
Okay. I mean, I'd just some a word of warning. I'd be very careful to give your permission to anybody that you don't know who they are, or you don't know who their face is, or you haven't got to know, because they could do anything. They could do anything as soon as you give permission. It's a contract. It's a verbal, energetic contract. So then you leave yourself vulnerable to all kinds of things. But it sounds like they were looking to see what was going on with you. Sounds a little bit like a version of I forget the name of it. There's a I can't remember the name of it. It's a way of looking into at the birth when a child is born. There's technology that can be used that can then look into the child and the child's DNA and find out with like 99% accuracy what the life of the child is going to be, and what they're going to do at certain ages, at certain points, at who they're going to meet. And so if it's a specific consciousness that's incarnated into a body that's has the potential to do harm to this structured system that's here, then they will then become a targeted individual. So it looks like that they were checking in and seeing where you were going to go and what you were going to do in the upcoming years.
Why was it linked with Dan Bolan? I mean, he admitted it was.
I don't know Dan Bolan, and I don't know your connection with Dan Bolan.
Right, yeah. I don't really have one.
Have you never spoken to him?
Yeah, I interviewed him for the show. He made me cry, actually. He came up with Open Your Heart Chakra, and I started crying. And he said he was doing some healing on me. But now he says he's going out in these missions in the Astral to take down parts of CERN. And one of his teams approached me, and he said he knew them, and he said that's to come with him to take down Alice. But it just seemed like they were looking at me. Do you know what I mean? And I thought maybe, how does he know this guy, Alex? How does he actually know him? Okay, he's one of his team, but you know, this guy might be anything, really. You know?
Yeah. Who know? I mean, that's it's. You got to be very careful with that. I would be very careful about giving your power over to a faceless Facebook profile. I think it's can be very dangerous, Christine. So I'd be careful with that, because you know, like I said, as soon as you give your permission, they could have done anything.
Like what?
They could have done anything. They could have implanted you. They could have messed around with things that are upcoming for you. They could have looked and seen that maybe you were going on a certain direction that didn't benefit because everyone has their own agenda. There are different agendas going on. It seems to me, though, that there's like everybody at the top is linking together now, and they've sort of all the infighting is stopped, and they've even like the Nazi consciousness and the Zion consciousness is sort of like uniting, because they're both agreeing on this new world order system they want to put into place. But whatever agenda this faceless Facebook profile had might not have been in your best interests. So I'm just saying, be careful with that.
Can you, if you've given permission, you can revoke it though, right?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I would do it out loud. I would do it out loud when you're alone and revoke it. And then they can't. I'm always doing that. I'm always throwing people out of my energy field. People are always trying to link and attach. And I do it probably daily now. And I have certain words that I've worked out that I can say that work. And I can literally hear a pop where the link where they've put into me just like flies out. I have to do it all the time, especially if you're vulnerable being on the radio and speaking about any of these things. All these topics are things that are hush topics, and and this isn't controlled release. This is I'm speaking to you in sort of stream of consciousness, so there's no control in it. So that's not what they like. So then they'll attempt to throw links into me all the time, and you and others who are on the show. So it's always important for me, before I do a radio show, before I do a speak on stage, I will always do a specific thing to protect myself and sort of bless myself, put earth green energy over myself so that I can't be harmed and that nothing can link into me, because they're always trying to link to pull energy from you. They're always trying to pull energy. They're always desperate for energy. These beings.
Yeah, I got it after the show I did with you. I got one troll who's called Tree Seer, who sent me masses and masses and masses of negative energy. Massive. She went all over the place. Don't speak about yourself. Don't speak about yourself. Don't speak about yourself.
Really?
Which has affected me. What?
I said, really?
Yeah.
So she wrote this to you personally, or was on?
It was on the comment section.
Okay.
But she just went all over, and then someone came along. I don't know. It was then backed them up. Yeah. she's old and pray for her and all that crap.
Oh, don't. Yeah, just you need to cover yourself with that and just like throw them out. So, because so this is how it happens. As soon as they can invoke an emotional reaction within you, it doesn't really. Preferably, they like a sad, like a low vibration or a sad reaction. They can get you to feel sad or feel sorry for them or cry or feel shame or guilt. These are the emotions that carry sort of an intense energy surge. So they like those, but it doesn't really matter. It can be any extreme energy. It can be extreme happiness. That's going to also be energy that they can harvest. As soon as they can make you have an emotional reaction, then a link can be put into you. So then perhaps like after this show, I'll get rid of all the links that have come to me, probably because they're in the airway, they're in the unseen energy.
So what do they do? I noticed someone as well. It was an old show, and they left something to me, and it was something about how I'm bad, and because I said I was angry with my neighbor, I felt like keying their car because they swore at me. It's up to me. I'm honest. I got the energy out. Whatever. Yeah. I'm not a bad person. And they shared that they spoke directly at me. They always write my name as well as Christine, and then they say, and it's always cloaked in love and light at the end. And it was something like, you've got
be careful with love and light too. That's also an inversion. That's not good.
Yeah, and it was like the guy.
Light,
yeah,
not good.
Yeah, it was like the guy saying, "Oh, pray for her. She's old." Yeah. Well, right, you asshole. So also, I like being old. I'm proud of it. What?
Switch the letters around on the word nam. I don't want to insult anybody here, and no disrespect to anybody who does that or uses that. I was just being observant, and if you just switch the letters around of the word namaste, you've got am Satan in it. That's an anagram of am Satan.
I never like people that use that. But the link, I found it because, when they leave stuff like that, if you get a good person, and there's loads of good persons that, come up on YouTube, when they leave a comment near, it kind of busts the energy.
Yes.
One guy, who was really, really negative, but he ended up talking in a real way to me. As soon as he spoke to me in a real way and said, "Oh, I'm sorry," I felt like this knife being pulled out of my stomach.
Yeah. Yes, and that goes back to the same countering thing with the movies that we were talking about earlier. There's the quote unquote light movement that's also in the entertainment industry that puts these movies out to counter the lie movies that they put out. They'll put certain archetypes and characters in there to make you think that it's this person or that person, and then another movie studio will put out another movie that will counter that. So it's like the knife goes in, then the knife's pulled out. So in the same principle.
Huh? It's interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah, it's dark. It's the same old story of dark and light that we're trying to get over.
Spiritual warfare.
A little bit boring now. We're like, we've been doing it for long enough. Black and white, up and down, left and right. Isn't it a bit old? Can't we go into something a bit more complex than that? Duality is a little bit yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. It is.
Yeah. I think so. I think we've done it enough times. Haven't we learned the lessons that like one is a reflection of the other? One is a perfect reflection of the other one, and we're trying to learn and understand and experience it here in 3D so we can understand what that is and what it is to feel like to have that experience.
Yeah.
So you haven't had any more contact with those have you blocked them now, or are you still?
No, I can't because Miles likes the drama, so Miles leaves it on. He even said to me when I swore at somebody, "Christine, watch yourself." It reminded me of, like, we were talking about wrestling the other way. It reminded me of when Triple H, he got Roman Reigns, and he really emaciated his face. Like, it wasn't real wrestling. He was like smacking his face. Then he got his nose and rubbed it around. There was blood everywhere, and it was horrific. And then this week, Reigns came up and attacked Triple H, but he didn't go for his face. He was just throwing him around, and you could tell how angry he was. And there was somebody there who was going, "Oh, let's call the police because this is out of order what he's done." And I just thought, God, they attack, but when you respond in a like way, there's always somebody that goes, "Oh, you're the bad guy,"
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, totally, and it's the same thing, isn't it? I mean, it's the same dark and light story, but the thing is, they like the elite are I'm just using that word. They want to be able to stay in this frequency and keep it as a master-slave reality, and keep it themselves as having abundance, and have the masses having, really nothing.
And we're supposed to think as well. I mean, I look around and see how sad people are, and we're supposed to be okay with our empty lives. And we're supposed to it's okay because we're not starving. It's okay because we're not really, really, really suffering. But, we're having these empty, spiritless lives. I mean, we've got to start connecting up. We've got to start walking where there's trees. We've got to start talking to the Father. I mean, I talk to the Father constantly, and I use something called ACTS, which A for adoration, C for confession, what you've done, T for thanksgiving, and S for supplication, and just do that every day, and refresh and pray. We're coming to the end of the show. I just want to say so someone's making me laugh in the text box. I just want to say thanks very much to Max Spiers, and you can find Max on Facebook. Spiers is spelled Spiers.
That's right.
Max is on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Christine Joanna Hart, and my book is out there, Alien Experiences, if you want to buy it off Amazon. If you want to donate to keep the show on the road, my PayPal account is warnernews@sky.com. That's Warner as in Warner Brothers News, NEWS @sky.com. I'm also on GoFundMe. Max, you haven't got a website sorted out yet, have you?
Actually, it's just going up at the moment. So it will be probably ready in the next day or two. And so when it is, I will let you know. Or if when I'm on next, I will let you know what it is.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Because I believe you're going to give consultations, aren't you?
I'm at the moment, I'm really focusing on the work that I'm doing for Poland and the conferences that I've got coming up, because I've got quite a few of them. So
do you want to share with the listeners, just while we've got a few minutes, what's coming up?
Okay, so there's a conference in Warsaw in Poland, and that's on April the 22nd. And that will be it's really sort of based on targeted individuals, really, and the kind of modern day phenomena of targeted individuals. And we wanted to get it in sort of the Northern European area, because that area hasn't been. They seem to be more open and ready to accept and understand these sort of topics than perhaps some of the Western countries. And so and there's another one on May the 28th in Manchester. Chris Turner is putting together. But I'll have all that on Facebook, and
on your Facebook. Oh, brilliant! Well, thanks for being a fantastic guest, Max, and
thank you very much.
Have a brilliant week.
You too.
And thanks for the listeners. God bless.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
It is no secret that the so-called mainstream media is best described as controlled propaganda. Countless news stories are either totally ignored or spun with half-truths, and because of this, essential facts and vital information are often compromised. Join Dr. Ott every Friday night on Studio B at 10 p.m. Eastern and learn why The Story Behind the Story was nominated for a Peabody Award in its second year of producing unparalleled broadcasting excellence in 1997. That is, if you really care about learning the truth.
travels to Earth through the rainbow crystal bubbles from the furthest reaches of space and time, across the dimensions, through the elements, and in harmony with the colors of the universe. Through her mastery of abstract stream of consciousness malapropisms, she weaves a web of comic, satiric, cosmic conversation. Her subjects can range from Norman, the goose next door, to astrology and earth changes, and into the deep recesses of the soul matrix. She holds a wealth of knowledge on herbs, plants, and astrology. Join Mona and her guests on adventures of a feral hippie as she touches the earthly radio waves 5 days a week at 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Studio B at Revolution Radio.
I'm Reverend Medium Tracy Lockwood, and I'd like to invite you to join me as I discuss life from a medium's perspective. I'll be talking about insights that I've gained through readings, with topics like your guides, angels, animal communication, past lives, our transition, and the afterlife. We'll take a deeper look at the metaphysical meanings of symbols and totems, and I'll give you some practical exercises to help you develop your own natural psychic ability. Join me on From a Medium's Perspective.
Revolution Radio.
You don't see it, do you? How close we are to absolute chaos? The sick ones are sitting on their fat asses, eating and drink themselves into a stupor, polluting the world without a second thought while it goes down the toilet. Nobody wants to do the nasty work. You know, the shit that we all just think about. Most good citizens are just along for the ride and then bitch and moan and complain about everything when it doesn't work out. Not me. Get it done.
Revolution Radio, where we do the nasty work. www.freedomslips.com.
Tune in to An Average Host with Exceptional Guests. I'm Patricia Aiken. Every week at Sacred Cow Barbecue, my guests and I kill at least one sacred cow. We're definitely thinning the herd. We say to hell with politically correct and examine the real facts. Interrupt your regularly scheduled programming as we free our minds. Diversity, white genocide, the con and the Constitution, vaccine damage, fake money, criminally insane government. Whew, there's a big herd to slaughter. Grab a plate and come hungry. Sacred Cow Barbecue, Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, Studio A.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and FreedomSlips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, FreedomSlips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.